Hello and welcome to another installment of JSVeterans.com videos. As the lead developer, my name is Gasper. Let's get started, shall we? This video is designed to be a brief overview of Star Kinesis and some of its features. The goal behind Star Kinesis is to make an indie-developed title that's equivalent to AAA games out there, as well as raising the graphics bar for mobile platforms. So the goal of this video is simple: try to cover as many of these features as we can. So the first thing you'll notice when you load up Star Kinesis is a login screen. You create an account using an email that's verified, and then you will select your faction. This is permanent to the account. If you're interested in creating multiple factions, simply create multiple accounts. Being the game is free to play, I hope that's not an issue for anybody. These statistics will be housed internally on our servers. It will also be adjusting the variables of future games and volumes. So your performance in Star Kinesis will directly impact your statistics when you're starting Volume 2. Once the account creation process is complete, you'll be loaded into the main menu. This allows access to the achievement system, the leaderboard system, and various other things, most importantly, the operations map. This is also where you'll gain access to the in-game store. Everything available in this store is something that can be obtained in-game. So let's move on to the operations map. The first thing you'll notice is that the planets are always moving. Any time of day that you log in is taken into consideration based off of either server time or your device time. This is then translated into a real-world rotational system where essentially 1 year is equivalent to 24 hours in-game. And at that rate, you'll always see the planets moving, you'll always see them differently, you'll always see them at a different perspective, different rates, in turn always changing the environment when you play. But the most important factor here is that it changes the way the zones are oriented. Imagine the whole map as a spider web, and at the center of that spider web is your base. Wherever your base is, in correlation to all the zones and all the nodes and all the sectors, that is where the spider web starts and spans out. So for your spider web to get bigger, the adjacent nodes to your base need to be secured. And once they are secured, then you can basically bounce through these various nodes to engage through higher zones, move your base, or unlock crafting or mining nodes. This system might seem complex off the bat, but once you dive into it, you'll see that it's quite straightforward. You're also able to move your base to various other hiding spots. This allows you to restart the focal point of your web based off of what other nodes out there you've secured. You'll also notice that there are satellite icons above every single node. This is the type of multiplayer system it is, whether it's co-op, single player, or straight-on multiplayer. And if you decide to play offline, all that's available to you is the single-player option, as well as a cap in primary resources. There are 6 kinds of primary nodes. These are attacking, non-combat bonus nodes, defending, investigating, and mines, and lastly, the mission operation nodes. Those are the green ones. The mission operation nodes are considered the storyline nodes. These will not be available in the beta version. While the mines are fairly straightforward, once you accomplish the goals internally, then you're able to harvest the resources of that node regularly. And the last 3 nodes are standard combat nodes required to secure a sector. When any node or sector is secured, it becomes blue. So pretty much if it's blue, it's yours. The checkmarks add another layer of playability. Basically, every so often, certain types of nodes will be taken back over by the enemy, at which point you're able to go back in there, fight for the node, and gain another bonus reward, which are unique to the first time that you fight at a node. So that covers the fundamentals behind the operations map. As you secure more nodes, you expand your spider web, which in turn expands your secured area, gaining more access to harder nodes, better enemies, better rewards, and more mining and crafting nodes. The next thing we're going to touch on is the drone carrier base. Each faction has unique statistics, in turn unique models. So the bases are in fact different between both the factions. When you're at the operations map and you click on a base, you'll notice a series of statistics are posted. These statistics directly affect your ability to mine, refine, smelt, and craft. These will be introduced in a separate video, but more importantly, these are a direct result of your base's tier and upgrade system. There are 4 types of carrier systems. Each one brings its own unique abilities to the battlefield, generally trading off bonus slots for power capability. Additionally, the base in each carrier system has 5 tiers of upgrades. You'll quickly notice that there are 4 primary types of modifications as well. These include advanced mods, standard mods, launch bays, and integrated bays. The modification variant system is quite in-depth as well. I'll go over that in another video. But needless to say, there are basically 3 ranks of each type of weapon system and 3 different slot systems. Here you'll also notice that there's additional customization options in the bottom right. You're able to change the colors of various systems within your carriers and your base. This includes the power systems, the thruster systems, the fleet and player logos, and your marking color scheme. You're also able to swap out marking and texture packs Next, you're able to also swap out available fleet and player logos. And lastly, you're also able to swap out your environmental scheme. These vary fairly dramatically between the background colors, the ambient colors, the refractive qualities, and many other variables within the game, to basically accommodate a look that you personally prefer. After all, this is all just a digital display interface system for the battlefield. All tiers, upgrades, carrier unlocks, and ranks and slots are all depicted visually within the game. But one of the most vital things you can do at the base is simply upgrade your systems, whether that be base tiers or carrier tiers, or more importantly, upgrading mods and their slot quantities. Regardless of the rank or type of mod that it is, you're able to upgrade it with a single slot of the same exact item. So take for example a standard mod, a rank 2 railgun with 2 slots. If you have a rank 2 railgun with 1 slot, you're able to add that to the 2 slot to simply create a 3 slot system. This is vital to maintain upgrades on all your systems. Regardless of the mod type, increasing the slots always helps. So let's move on to deploying some of these assets. The first thing you'll notice in any battleground is the actual background. This is always relevant to where you decided to fight in the operations map, what planets and moons are closest, and how far away the sun is. Seeing that the solar system is always shifting, the odds of playing with the same background is astronomical. Additionally, the spawn and base locations are also randomized to a certain degree. These are in fact largely based off of the map type. But again, the spawn locations, the randomization behind them, the map type variables, and all the other variables involved, means that you'll basically never play the same map twice. This is also a system specifically designed to be synchronized with other players joining or leaving the map. The types of spawns or the color schemes of the spawns, that's all based off of the zone that you're in, the difficulty of the enemies, the types of maps that you're in, and that also includes the objective nodes. The nodes are always different, they change dynamically, they're based off of several variables. But I think the most important thing is that depending on how many players are in the map, depending on the type of map that it is, matches can last as short as 3 minutes sometimes. The game is designed to be fast-paced. You basically jump into the map, you fight it out however long you can, and you leave once either the mission objectives are complete or you can't handle any more punishment. And this is a very important factor, because if you lose an asset, it is gone. That includes slots to the different types of mods, to even the carrier. If you lose these assets, they're permanently gone. If you're joining a multiplayer map, one of the first things you'll see is the asset score of the room. The asset score is the most important thing. Basically, this is a guide to see how close you are to the enemy's capabilities. It's up to you as a player if you want to stick around and find out if you can take them. And lastly, I'd like to touch on the concept of salvage. There are various different kinds of salvage modules. These dramatically increase your salvage score, and in turn, all of your drops and your multipliers at the end of each map. Additionally, what kind of rewards you get from vendors, crafting results, and everything else in-game that's non-combat related. You can equate this to some sort of magic find system in many other games. Your salvage score is probably your most dramatic and important modifier in the game. The issue is that when you go into a match with salvage modules on, you're obviously taking away from your combat effectiveness. So it's up to you as a player to decide how much this is worth to you. But needless to say, even 1 or 2 salvage modules will give you dramatic result changes in all of your rewards throughout the game, and it's well worth using. And once you have completed either the main objectives or the secondary objectives, or just decided to leave, you'll be sent to a roll-up screen. This will multiply your actions within the game, including taking into account all the objectives you've completed, and give you appropriate rewards. This also includes the anomalous finds. These are basically random reward boxes, and very, very useful. This will probably be the bulk of where you get your materials, currencies, or modifications. This is another thing that will be covered in the crafting overview later. But I leave you with that as a brief overview for Star Kinesis. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching, and I hope you support us and enjoy the game. Take care.